Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtin from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome back for episode 6 of Heart Centered Revolution. In this podcast, we talk about the chakra system. So we're going to do future episodes where we talk about each chakra point individually. So this episode is just to give a really deep understanding as to what a chakra is. I mean, we throw the word around a lot in spiritual endeavors, but Ramtin goes really deep in description into what exactly that means. And again, towards the end of the episode, I will lead you through a breathing practice. This time we are going to practice suspending our breath and talk about all of the benefits that come when you suspend your breath. I will also share with you how you can download the audio of that breathing practice so that you can do it throughout the week on your own when you're walking the dog or cooking, whatever you're doing. That way you can continue your practice outside of the studio. And last but definitely not least, I share how you can submit your questions about Kundalini Yoga and Meditation to be answered on our very special upcoming question and answer podcast. So hang tight and we'll have those details for you at the end. Before we jump into Ramtin's class, I want to clarify something, and not to confuse the issue, but as Ramtin introduces the chakras, he mentions the 10 bodies. In Kundalini Yoga or in yogic anatomy, we learn that human beings are comprised of 10 separate bodies. And it's being aware of and balancing each of these 10 bodies that helps us live a full, enriched, and the most powerful life as a human being. So the 10 bodies, just in case you're curious, are the soul body, the negative mind, positive mind, neutral mind, the physical body, the arc line, the aura, the pranic body, the subtle body, and the radiant body. So in the show notes for this episode at heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 6, I will include a link to an article that tells you more about the 10 bodies if you're curious. And I'm sure that we will do episodes in the future doing a deep dive into the 10 bodies, just like we're doing for the chakras. But we decided to start with the chakras. So here we are transitioning into Ramtin's class.
Yogi Bhajan, who introduced Kundalini Yoga to the Western world back in 68 or 69, introduced the 10 bodies. The soul body, the first body. So there's the concept of chakras in the Eastern philosophy that most of us are familiar with. And chakras go hand in hand with the 10 bodies. And chakras are what? Who knows what chakras are? Energy sources. Okay. So the word chakra means wheel, circle. So the chakra points are the areas of energy vortex movement, right? Within our body that associate with different organs within our body. Different emotions are connected to it. And when we become aware of them and learn about them and utilize them, meaning that, opening the channels, just like channels in our body, we really receive that, receive the full benefit of the energy source that's always running through us. Become more aware of it. So that's what we're going to do in the series of classes that are ahead of us. We're going to work on chakras. Today I want to go briefly, and we'll expand on this further, more on chakras, in overall what chakras are. So when we say chakras, the word chakra means wheel. What comes to mind when you think of wheel? Spinning. Movement. And that's how we could visualize, right there, visualize the chakras. There are 7 chakras as we major. There's like 100 plus chakra points, but there's 7 major chakras in our that are associated with the endocrine system. And then there's the 8th chakra, which is part of aura or energy field. Okay? So wheel is movement. It's about movement, about energy flow. So those chakra points are energy vortexes that we utilize, we focus on to move energy. And as we move energy, we're able to feed and energize the organs that are associated, the body parts are associated with that part, that energy vortex. And as I mentioned earlier, every cell of your body has its own consciousness, right? So the complexity of human, brain and our physicality, our bodies is just multi-levels.
I wanted to actually share a visualization or an image of the chakras that I've recently learned and found really powerful, and I just resonated with. And that is that our chakras are like eddies in the water. So the energetic system that runs through our body is like a river, and it has a direction and it has a flow, but there are certain points in that energetic flow or in our bodies where, due to both the physical and the energetic pressures, it can create this circular motion or a vortex where the energy gets focused and heightened. And I've also heard, but I haven't been able to verify, so if I'm incorrect, forgive me, but I've heard that in the eddies and rivers, that's where there's more nature. That's where the fish live. That's where they lay their eggs. That's where kind of life happens, in these pockets of energetic flow that, because of the physical geography, but also the forces at work, there is a vortex of energy. I personally just found that imagery incredibly helpful in understanding and really resonating with what the chakras were, especially as I do guided visualizations for each chakra. I just love this visualization of a river of energy, and then just like an eddy swirls in the river, there are eddy swirls in our bodies. So that's it. And here we'll jump back into Ramtin's amazing class.
So with understanding with the chakra, there's another deeper understanding of how we could move energy. And that's the key. That's the whole key. Anytime we want to create a change in our life, we have to create a movement. We have to move energy through our thoughts. And when we do that, different emotions are created. Become aware of the emotions. And we do that by using the kriyas, the tools that we have, which are our hands, our feet, fingers, eyes. Those are the tools that we have to use this very ancient system of Kundalini Yoga to heal our body, to manifest what we want. When you're healing, you're manifesting a new consciousness, a new renewed energy in your body to get rid of what you don't want. So the chakra systems are about creation and elimination. The lower triangle, start from bottom up. The first, second, and third chakras are part of the lower triangle. And everything in our body is kind of in the triangle. The trigonometry is important. It's associated with different organs. And the symbol of the star, the 2 triangles, that's like the chakra system. And those 3 first triangle chakras that have to do with elimination, letting go. In order for us to cleanse and clear and let go and start anew, we have to let go. We have to eliminate for a new to come in. So it says here that chakras exist as dynamic energies. And that's important for us to realize. What does dynamic mean? Always working, always moving, right? Or changing. So when you saw someone who's dynamic, they show a lot of energy. And again, meditate on this. What does energy mean to you? Make that clear for yourself. Energy. Okay? How you could utilize. What can you add to it? Be creative. Color. We'll talk about colors of the chakra. Colors that you could add to it. Shapes. And you could label it for yourself. Label, those, whatever it is that you in your imagination. Imagination is the most profound tool, a part of who we are, an aspect of who we are as human beings to create. And we underutilize it tremendously. You have to become comfortable with that. You have to make it real for ourselves. Imagination is the mind, the subtle energy form that you could put into manifestation with the tools that we have, right? What tools do you have to put your imagination into manifestation? Your fingers are tools for your imaginations to come to manifestation. First you write it, first you think it. That's energy. Right. That's energy source. And then you type what's in your imagination. You describe what was your imagination. But unless you had a finger, you couldn't really communicate it to me. What tools do you have? Your mouth, your tongue, right? Yeah. And how do you share that is through your description and creating a visualization. How am I receiving that? By seeing it. By hearing it. That's music is all about. We're sharing that energy that comes from the source. That's what's happening here in a Kundalini class. The sounds, the mantras, the mudras are tools for us to activate this energy vortexes in our body, to move the energy and receive the energy that's more subtle, unless we create that movement and create a facility by relaxation to be able to become aware of that energy. And the more you utilize this technology in a more comprehensive way, the more you're able to use your imagination to manifest things. Because those channels are now open. So that's why learning about chakras are important for your own, utilization and manifestation. And we could learn one technique here in this room, and we could focus on it, and it would really set us free and help us a lot. One breathing technique, but there's so many. I say this because the most important thing is our discipline and our consistency to do it. Right? How many times have we bought a gadget of some sort and never used it? Same thing. You manifested this body to come to this earth, but if you don't move it, if you don't exercise it, if you don't practice it, you're not using it. It's sitting and, gathering dust. So get on your feet, get on your hands. Use your tongue to sing. Don't hold back. Speak out loud. And that's what Kundalini Yoga teaches us to do. By utilizing simple moves, natural ways of healing ourselves. I was listening to a TED Talk on NPR, and they were talking about life coding. It's like genes, and it gets complicated, and writing DNA and all that stuff. Which I guess there's always arguments on both sides, the good or bad, the pros and the cons, what it could do, the advantages humans could take from this technology to recreate things. You could totally rewrite someone's DNA and genes and all that stuff. If you think only from one way, one direction, one-sidedness of just science, and try to heal everything and correct everything, and the solution to everything is just from that aspect of physiology, biology, then that's how we'll evolve to be, to bring more of that technology, which is fascinating, is amazing. I was thinking, and that's a quick, actually, just like anything else, we're looking for a quick fix. And that is, it takes a long time to learn how to utilize that technology and the science and put it in experiments and all that. So the preparation of it and the development of it takes a long time, but then gives us a quick fix. In a sense, that's what we're looking for here too. With Kundalini Yoga, our connection to the source. We could bypass everything else, and then that connection, and instead of the mind, we could fix, ourselves very rapidly. But we're doing it in a more natural way, right? If we continuously, they're saying that with this development, with this science, life coding, we could eliminate so many diseases. We could do that here in this room with the practice of Kundalini Yoga. And it's true. And that's why it's a technology and it's a science. And there's other modalities that exist, that if we really tap into the wisdom and the knowledge and then believe, then we could utilize it. And that's the consciousness we need to develop and expand and focus on and dwell in within ourselves on an ongoing basis. Continuously doing the meditations that we learn here, and be patient with it, and practice patience. And one day you're driving down the street and you just feel great for no reason. And you don't allow everything else that occurs in the environment to affect you as much. And if you become aware of them, that awareness doesn't hold, that energy doesn't get stuck in your system. You allow it to flow, allow it to let go, and you let go of it, to allow it to just be released. And that's when your chakras are open.
Ooh, thank you, Ramtin, for that description and in-depth understanding of the chakras. I was thinking one thing as he was wrapping up and talking about patience that I wanted to point out. It's important to me to be completely authentic. And so we as teachers teach what we know to be true from the yogic philosophy and yogic teachings, but that does not mean that we are perfect at it. Ramtin and I are impatient on a regular basis. We do have a daily practice and we do stick to those things, but it's taken us years to get there. And this information that we're sharing and the technology that we're sharing, we're human as well. And so we have periods of time where it's easy and it comes naturally. And then we have periods of time where we have resistance to it. Thankfully, we've both gotten to a place where we do practice daily, even if it's just an 11-minute meditation. But like I said, it took us a while to get there in this lifetime and probably multiple lifetimes before now. So I don't ever want anyone listening to think that we're somehow perfect or better than, because we are Far from those things. We are on this path just like you are. We just might be within the Kundalini field of technology, might be a few, steps ahead, just kind of sharing the information that we've learned and how we've been successful in integrating it into our life. So after that, side note, I wanted to point out again that we will be doing future episodes about each of the individual chakras. And so they will come out in order, but they will not all come out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll break it up a little bit so that it's not all chakra all the time. So that's kind of what you can expect for coming up. For the pranayama for this episode, we're going to practice suspending the breath. We do this all of the time in Kundalini yoga practices. After every single exercise, it's often taught or told to inhale deeply, hold the breath in, squeeze the root lock, you're moving the energy up, and then exhale and relax. So we're going to talk about that suspension of breath. We're going to talk about what it does for you and then the correct way to do it, because it's easy. And I think the common sense way to hold your breath would be to tighten your face muscles, tighten your neck, and kind of hold tight while you hold the breath in. But that's just creating more tension in your body and is not, in the end, what we're looking for. Let's start with some of the benefits of suspending your breath. And so by suspending your breath, you can gradually recondition your nervous system. So as you hold your breath, your nervous system might start to freak out a little bit. And so you can recondition it to not respond so quickly to a minor stress, especially a minor stress that's actually in your control. It also won't come as a surprise to anyone who's practiced this, that practicing suspending your breath helps you get centered and trains you to use good judgment when under pressure. So you'll hold your breath and your body starts talking to you and panicking. And so it allows you an opportunity or a practice to rise above that, rise above the responses from your reptilian brain and respond from your prefrontal cortex, from your connection to the infinite that knows that you are okay. You're just suspending your breath. On the suspended breath, you can also experience shunya, which is zero. This is a deep stillness. It's a quietness of the mind. To me, it's a vibration. When I get in shunya, it's a blessing because it doesn't happen all the time. And for me, actually, it happens mostly after I meditate. And I inhale, suspend my breath, just like we're talking about here. And then it's like the outside world, the volume knob has been turned way down and my mind is quiet and my ears are almost not ringing, but they feel like vibrations coming in, but there's no sound coming in. It's a really powerful experience. And so that's my personal experience of shunya. And after we do kriyas and meditations in Kundalini yoga, oftentimes we're chanting, we're moving, they're very active. And so the inhaling, suspending the breath on the inhale really gives you an opportunity to check in with that shunya, with that zero, with that stillness. There are a few points that can make holding your breath a little bit easier. And one is, even if you're going to hold the breath on the inhale, make sure you're exhaling everything out. It's actually the buildup of carbon dioxide that makes you feel panicked, like you need to take another breath. So by exhaling and doing complete exhales, it'll allow you to hold the breath in. Another thing to remember is that if you experience dizziness or disorientation, that you need to stop the breath, not the practice altogether. But being dizzy, that's not the point. That's not enlightenment. Feeling woozy, it just means that you're either pushing yourself too far or you're not ready for the practice at this time, which is fine. Another recommendation throughout this practice is to create a calm point within yourself. Get in that attunement with your highest self, with that part of you that is the observer, and observe the responses of your body and your mind. And this really helps you get in touch with that observer point of view that can be so helpful as you go throughout your day, even when you're not suspending your breath. We'll begin our practice now. So as we've done in the past, bring yourself up into a long spine, crown chakra lifted, chin gently tucked. If it's safe for you where you are and what you're doing, you can close your eyes. Bring your eye focus to the third eye. Roll your shoulders up and back and down. Let's take a few just regular breaths. Start lengthening and deepening your breath. Inhaling deep. Exhaling completely. Let's take two more. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Beautiful. Take another deep inhale, and at the top of the inhale, suspend your breath. Bring your attention to the clavicle and your upper ribs. Lift your ribs slightly. Relax your shoulders, relax your throat, relax your face. Pull your chin in just a little bit. Be still and calm. If you feel the urge to exhale, it sounds counterproductive, but inhale a little bit of air instead. As I said, if you're dizzy, just continue with your normal breath. Let go of the suspension. Let's exhale. Exhale gently. Let's inhale and suspend again. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Keeping the face relaxed, shoulders relaxed, finding the island of peace, even if your body and mind are not peaceful. Now exhale gracefully. Let's take a regular inhale and exhale. We'll suspend the breath in one more time. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Heart lifted, shoulders relaxed, face relaxed, mind calm. Exhale completely. Beautiful. Staying in this meditative space, let the breath come and go naturally. Let your body and mind regulate. Feel safe. Take a mental note of what it felt like to suspend the breath on the inhale as we prepare to suspend the breath on the exhale. Let's recheck our posture. Hearts up and lifted, shoulders rolled up and back, eyes closed at the third eye. Hands can be in Gyan Mudra. That's pointer finger to thumb tip connected on your knees. Let's inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And suspend the breath out. Pull the navel back towards the spine, letting out a little puff of air if there's any left. Lift the chest. We don't want to compress the diaphragm. As we did before, relax the shoulders, relax the face. You don't want to contort your body to force the exhale out. Just have it be a natural exhale. Become still and calm. If you feel the need to inhale, just exhale a teeny bit more. Then inhale gently. Exhale completely. Suspend the breath. Pull the navel in, heart lifted, shoulders back. Body muscles relaxed, even if your mind is not relaxed. Come into connection with the still and calm that resides within your soul. Inhale. Exhale completely. We'll suspend one more time. Suspend the breath out. Be still and calm. And then inhale gently. Keeping your eyes closed if it's safe. Let the breath return back to normal. Let the breath come in and out. Make a note of what it felt like to suspend the breath out. Was it more or less challenging for you than suspending the breath in? Did it feel different to you? What was it like to experience your mind and body panicking, but you, who you are, the truth, the Satnam of who you are, to be calm in the center of that storm? And can you bring that practice into the world with you? Into difficult conversations, into difficult meetings, when you're reading emotional news on Facebook or on Google News? Can you be that calm center in the midst of the storm and the panic? When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Beautiful. I hope that you enjoyed that breathing practice. If you would like to practice it throughout the week, please visit heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 6. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a place where you can download that breathing practice. In other exciting news for Heart Centered Revolution, we are putting together a question and answer episode of the podcast. So I believe that it will be episode 10, which is coming out November 28th. So if you have a question, a burning question about Kundalini Yoga that you haven't been able to get answered, please feel free to email me at jen@heartcenteredrevolution.com. You can also message me, or I should say message us, on Facebook or Instagram. On Facebook, we are Heart Centered Revolution. And on Instagram, we are HC Revolution, because Heart Centered Revolution was too long. So you can message us any of those venues. If you get the question in before the 18th, it'll be considered for the question and answer episode. But if you don't get it in before then, please still send a question, because we might include them on episodes if it's relevant to what we're talking about. Or we can collect them and do another Q&A episode if it's something that there seems to be a lot of demand for. And that's it for episode 6 of Heart Centered Revolution. We are so incredibly grateful to you for listening, for finding us early at the beginning of our podcasting journey. If you haven't, please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. That way you'll know when that special 10th episode is coming out. It'll just automatically appear on your device. Know that we love you, and may the longtime sun shine upon you, and all love surround you.